to Learn Free Music Theory lesson number 12. Alright, so today in this lesson we're going to talk about a subject on key signatures. So first, what are they, and obviously how do we draw them on the staff, and what do they look like, and all that stuff. So let's get right into it. Okay, so what is a key signature? Well, okay, now imagine if you're drawing a huge symphony, or you're creating a piece with a whole bunch of weird keys and all this other stuff, and you just have tons of sharps and flats that you need to repeatedly draw in over and over and over and over and over and over again. What if for every time that you were going to hit an F, you wanted to hit an F sharp every single time? Would that be kind of redundant? Well, that is the whole idea of a key signature. It's to make life easier. That is the entire idea of a key signature. So let's explain right now. So right here, I've drawn out a very, very simple example right here. Is we're in a treble clef, we've got a time signature, and this right here is our key signature. It always goes between your clef and your time signature, okay? So it's very important to check this key signature if you're ever playing or whatever you're doing, because it's going to affect what's going on here. It could actually deceive you sometimes, because say you're playing along here and you go D, F, A, B, C, D, right? Oh wow, I'm so bad at it. I don't even sound like super tone deaf. Okay, anyway. But it wouldn't actually be F and C, it would be F sharp and C sharp here. Okay? So that's F sharp and that's C sharp. Why? Because it says so here. This is F sharp and a C sharp in the key signature. So now, if you know anything about key signatures and blah blah blah, I can tell right off the bat by seeing that there's only two possible answers for what key this piece is written in. And the two possible answers are B minor and D major. Now, since it ends on a D and it starts in a D, most likely it's written in D major. And technically I wrote the thing, so I know inside information that it's in D major. But if I was just looking at that, I'd be like, okay, that's in D major. Just instantly you'd know that. From seeing this, it narrows all the keys down to just two keys, and then you just look for probable cause and you're like, okay, that's the key. So by the end of this lesson you should be able to figure out, no, actually by the end of next lesson you'll be able to kind of narrow it down. When you see something, you should be able to kind of give a pretty good answer of what key something's written in. Okay, so that's a key signature. Now, the problem is you could also have flats, and there's a specific order that the sharps and flats have to go in, depending on what key you're using. So that's the next thing I'm going to teach you, is the order of the sharp and flats. So let's get to that. Okay guys, so now what we're going to look at is the order of sharps and flats. Now this chart here is like the most important chart you're probably going to have to memorize in quite a while. This saying is, if you can just memorize like this, it looks like there's a lot to learn, but it's actually only one saying. It's just flip backwards. Now, this saying will actually give you the complete key to all key signatures, to the circle of fifths, all the keys and the scales, and it just is so important to learn this. So, please, follow along with me and pay very close attention to this, okay? Okay, so I have the order of sharps and the order of flats. I've colored them differently with the first letter of each word as the main thing, because that's going to be your accidental or your sharp or flat. So this is how it looks. So you have F, C, G, D, A, E, B, okay? Now, without a saying, it kind of doesn't, it's not that easy to remember that. So we have Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Now say that like 10 times fast over and over and over and over again. Just memorize that. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay, yeah, hopefully you can repeat it so I don't annoy anyone else. Alright? So that's the sharps. Now, how do you do the flats? You just say this one backwards. So I've written it out here. It goes, battle ends and down goes Charles' father. Battle end Battle ends and down goes Charles' father. Battle ends and down goes Charles' father. Now, how do you remember which one goes where? Well, this is how I remember it, and this is how I have since I was a kid. See the flats right here? Now, it sort of looks like a B, doesn't it? Look at this, a flat and a B, or more of a B. It still looks like a B. Now, what's the first letter here? It's a B. So the first one that we're going to use is B flat. So I just remember that since the first one looks like a B and it's battle, so the B and the flat go together, and basically I just use that as the flat. So since the B looks like a flat, that's the one that starts the flat side. And for F, it doesn't look like an F, so it doesn't matter because we already have the other one. Anyway, so hopefully that kind of helps. I always thought that the sharp looked like a tic-tac-toe board. So I'm pretty good at drawing tic-tac-toe boards. Just because I've done them so many times, it's just... Anyway. Okay, so... Anyway, that is the order. This, out of everything in the entire lesson, and probably... Yeah, it's extremely important. I could not stress how much you need to learn this. So, Father Charles goes down and ends battle, and battle ends and down goes Charles' father. So what I'd like you to do for that is write down 20 times for each one, and then also get good at saying it over and over. Say it to yourself maybe like 10 or 15 times every single day, if not more, until you know it really, really well, like you could never, ever, ever forget it, because it's extremely important to remember. You're going to use it all the time, in theory. Okay, so, yeah, let's go on to the next part. Okay, so this is what the sharps would look like in each clef, and this is basically the key signatures to the full extent. You would actually just add on to this, but I'm going to show you exactly what I mean in a second here. Okay, so, now, remember I was saying, Father Charles goes down and ends battle, because that's going to be very important here. So, say you needed something with all the key signature, this is what you'd write it as. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay? So, if you were going to only do 4, you just take these out. Father Charles goes down. 4. Okay? Now, if you needed only 3, you go Father Charles goes. Or you go Father Charles goes down and, or Father Charles goes down and ends battle. You do all of them. Basically, this is to the full extent, and if you need one less, you just take it off as you need it. So that would be the full order that you do it in. Okay? It'll make more sense when you understand the circle of fifths and how there's all these scales and everything. So, like right now, that would be the key signature you'd use for C sharp major or A sharp minor. Okay, now here, same thing. So, now we have Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay? So Father Charles goes down and ends battle. It has to be in this order. If you don't put it in this order, you'll get docked or it won't be considered proper music theory. I know. Good old proper music theory. Some people, I guess it's good that we do everything one way so that you don't get confused with other people doing things differently. It makes it easier down the road when you're trying to communicate with someone else. So yeah. Anyway, so that is sharps. Now let's do flats. Alright, so this is the way the flats go in the key signature. So it's battle ends and down goes Charles' father. Notice how important this saying is? Very important. Here, battle ends and down goes Charles' father. Okay? So that's how they should look. Same thing with the sharps. What I would like you to do is pause the video for both and write down a copy of these and practice drawing them over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? Sounds good. So that'll be good to memorize, to help you memorize that. So make sure you get a copy of that and a copy of the sharp, and yeah. Okay, let's do some homework now. Homework. No. Alright guys, so for your homework, this is what I'd like you to do. So, the most important thing, that. Memorize, Father Charles goes down and ends battle, and battle ends and down goes Charles' father. Make sure that you can say it backwards and forwards. I always found that kind of a funny thing. Whenever I teach students this, I'm always like, memorize it backwards and forwards, because that's like one of the only times that you actually mean it. Anyway. Okay, so write out sharps and flats, the order of both of them. So just like I've shown you, write them out, I would say 15 times for the treble clef and the bass clef each, with sharps and flats, okay? That should probably make you know exactly how to do it, no problem, okay? So 15 times for the treble clef, 15 times for the bass clef, for sharps and flats, okay? Alright, now memorize that and write that out, and then the next lesson we're going to cover the circle of fifths, which will show you every single scale in existence on kind of like one chart so you can see everything. Okay, let's get started on that in the next lesson. Okay, take care guys.